Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the official channel for AlphaBorn. So today let's look at some Quetzal builds on official settings, and then on the second half of the video we're going to go over to unofficial and show some adaptations. So on official, Quetzals used to be very popular when it came to raiding, and then of course they kind of withered into the distance and other methods were used, but they seem to be having a good comeback. So today I thought I would look at some of these very simple but effective builds. And then like I said, for the unofficial guys, if you're looking for a turret Quetz, stay tuned to the end of the video and I'll show you some of my own designs. And if it's your first time here today, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That one right there. That one, yep. Hit that button there. That one, yeah. And then on top of that, if you find this video helpful or useful, hit the like button please, right there. That's all you've got to do. Alright guys, let's crack on. Okay, so to begin with, we're just going to try and get the foundations lined up in a good place. Now, the build I'm about to do now, you can do it as one row. However, I personally prefer it as 2 rows because I feel the hatch frames fit a lot easier or a lot smoother. So as you can see, we've got 6 foundations. We're going to stick a door frame on, probably put a second door frame on the back here. So when it comes to building a Quetz, you really need to have a job for the Quetz in mind. So a lot of people, a lot of the times, I see people sort of mix and match in Quetzals. They build a war Quetz and then they go and try to do tanking with it, and of course it generally struggles. So have a Quetz for a individual job. And as you can see now, we've got a nice little box on there. Now we can also put beds in there. We can also put small storage boxes if we need be for extra loot, so we're not risking losing everything. So as you can see guys, this one's a very basic design. It's actually used more for going up towards, say, a chandelier, or trying to come below a turret tower and moving the way up, using the hatch frames as a shield to protect the Quetzal in hopes that you can't be seen. Now, one of the other things you can do in here as well is put down a hatch frame, because of course we haven't sunk any foundations. Once you're in here, you really can't dismount. So if you did want the extra option, and of course more options put you in a better position of raiding, you can put a hatch frame, of course put a trapdoor on as well, but I didn't this time just for convenience, and it gives us a nice easy place to get on and off. Now you can sink the foundations with this building style. However, on official especially, I'd find that sometimes the Quetz struggles to fly, like it kind of rubber bands, or you can't quite turn left but you can turn right, and it just makes things quite awkward sometimes. So if you're willing to deal with that, by all means sink the foundations. However, in just a very quick build or a very basic build version of how to get under someone's chandelier, this is quite easily one of the most effective and cheapest methods. It's a very simple build. So just a reminder again guys, right now we're on official settings. Then the second half of the video we're going to be doing it on non-official settings, and I'll show you how to adapt some of these. Let's take a look at number 2. So for my second build, this one's much more towards people who they like the first build but they don't quite know how to make it be built underneath. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to do a very similar, again like I said, I prefer 2 rows. You can do it as a single file 3 foundation, so you can make this cheaper if you want to. I just personally prefer having a bit of space or a bit of room inside. So let's get this done again. And then like I said, in here now I could place down some beds, or I could place down some storage boxes, so I'm not carrying all of my valuable loot on me while I'm trying to raid. Okay, so as you can see, same box. Okay, and now what we're going to do here is we're going to place a ceiling, or you can do 2 ceilings. I mean, one's fine, that's all you really need. And then we're going to put a wall in. Now, as you can see, they're snapping red. So what we need to try and do is convince it that it's actually snapping to the ceiling, which as you can probably see now is red and blue. So there we go. So if it does come up red, just move your angle a little bit, don't worry too much. Once that's placed like that, you can now pick this ceiling back up and it stays. Now I know that isn't the cleanest or the most tidiest looking type, but this is how we're going to do it. So we can then build downwards. I'm actually going to make the Quetzal hover at this point because it's a bit easier to do. Okay, so again, so the Quetzal doesn't become a little glitchy, or so the Quetzal doesn't stop flying or stop being able to turn left or turn right, build down one below its actual belly. So you don't want it really to be touching the Quetzal, so to speak. Well, now I'm just going to run these up here. Again, once you've placed this ceiling down, you can now remove this wall. For those of you on Unofficial as well, this is also a very good build for if you're up against turret Quetzes. A lot of people with turret Quetzes will try and go below you, where if you have this type of design, going below you will protect you from the turrets. Now there's no need to put a hatch frame on the back as much, because as you can see we've got a wall there and we're already building a bit further back than the Quetzal itself. Oh, the wings are pushing me. And there you have it. Now if you wanted to give your chin a little extra protection, you should have one or two structures remaining on this build. So it looks like one remaining, and that should give the chin a bit of protection as well. But essentially, as long as you are looking down and tucking your head in, you should be quite safe. And same again on the inside, if you really wanted to, you could put in a hatch frame instead of one foundation, and that gives you somewhere that you can get on and off again. And there you have it, guys, flying around nice and easy. So we can now come on top of any turret tower, or we can come on top of some chandeliers if coming from beneath them is not the best option. As you can see, I can still walk freely. Alright guys, let's move on to build number 3. Okay, so build number 3 is basically how do we minimize the structures and maximize the effectiveness. So again, now we are going to do one row or a single row of foundations. Now as you can see, if I mount, I'm already covered by the foundation. You can drop a pillar into this foundation if you wanted to, just to extra guarantee some security, but essentially this is all we need to do right now. So again, we're gonna drop a ceiling, look for that white or green snap point. There we go. So like I said, even if it takes a bit of time, just move yourself around, change your angle, and you will find it. Alright, so again, let's go down. I believe it's about 4 we go down. So as you can see, instead of using hatch frames, we're actually just building ceilings underneath, which will give him a nice strong belly protection, so to speak, even though this build's not for protecting his belly. Now I do need to leave a small gap and then the Quetzal should still fly pretty well. But essentially this style is more for actually walking towards turret towers. Okay guys, so I've made the gap at the front a little bigger, and obviously that means I'm going to get shot a tiny bit more, but essentially as you can see I can still fly, and that's the important thing. I'm rubber banding it a little, but again I would say this is definitely manageable, of going up and going down of course. And for this one you would basically come in a bit more diagonal to the turret tower, land, walk into the perfect position with your Quetz head pointed downwards, So that should, like I said, minimize the amount of turrets. Jump off, come down, C4, C4, C4. Back on the Quetz. Again, you can now turn to the side, keeping yourself safe from turrets, or you can fly around and fly up to minimize the amount of bullets you are tanking. Once you're at a safe location away, of course you can just dismount, blow the C4, and happy days. Right guys, so yeah, for official guys, I hope you found this helpful or useful and learning how to actually build the designs that you probably see the most on YouTube at the moment. Of course, these aren't new, they're now becoming back into fashion, so that's why I thought I'd make a video, make sure everyone knows what they're going to do, and make sure everyone knows how to do them. But stay tuned for the unofficial guys, and let's get into how we're going to adapt these for unofficial and turn them into turret monsters. So stay tuned. Okay guys, so we are back onto AlphaBorn, and you've seen my 3 official raiding dinos. Now let's see how we can convert them to unofficial and get things done. Now this of course is all based upon the server you're on. 1, do they allow turrets on the Quetzals? On AlphaBorn we do. And 2, it's kind of hard coded that you can't have tech or heavies on Quetzals, so it's only the standard auto turrets. But at the same time, depending on your server settings, these can be very effective tools in PvP or raiding and defending. So let's take a quick look at them. So as you can see here guys, lots of firepower for considering it's just auto turrets. This one is not very good at tanking, this one's not very designed for going into a raid, but it is great for defending, or it is great for doing the PvP side of things. And this particular design, I actually personally use it to say land near giggers or land near griffins or anything the other side is using. Now you may be thinking, but the generator is being shown up top, but the griffins and manors and them type of dinos can't actually slam down and break these on Quetzals anymore. Myself and Acid a few months back tried this on AlphaBorn. We put a generator in a 1x1 box on the ground and a griffin slam destroyed it straight away. We put it on a Quetz and we slammed it with manors and griffins probably 5, 6 to 10 times, and it never destroyed it. So that's obviously something that's been patched in the game. So I would guess that flame arrows could still hit that to destroy it. So whoever's flying, as long as you keep moving at all times, you should be okay. Now, as you can see, is 1, I have lowered the foundations. Now the reason for that is we come in here. It means that while I'm in here, I can mount and dismount as much as I need to. Running through, as you can see, I've got 3 electric cables. I put the cable as closest to the wall as I could, and then place the second, and then place the third, which means that's quite snug on the inside. So as you can see, there's that little tiny bit hanging out, but again, that's going to be quite difficult to hit on moving target. From that, I then snap the generator down to it. Okay, so whenever you want specific electrical wires or put wires in specific places, I always do the wiring first if I can. From that, as you can see, I literally have 4 electrical outlets. That's it. So this design is very much minimize the structures to maximize the turrets. So coming out of there, as you can see, with just 4 electrical snap points, every single turret is snapped. Okay, let me make him hover so we can see the base of him again. Very similar to the Quetzal that you would normally try to come down onto a turret tower, but like I said, this one's more for coming down into an actual pack of dinos or your enemy dinos. So even if you're using this just to pin someone into their base while you're still prepping or while you're getting ready to tank yourself or raid, this can be a very effective way of limiting the options what the other sides have. Okay guys, so here is number 2. So again, very similar to the tanking raiding Quetz style from the official settings. Again, this one was meant to be coming up from below a chandelier or below a turret tower, but again, putting some turrets on the top of it will, one, allow you to do the exact same job, but two, while you're there looking at their tower, you've got these turrets here helping to keep them pesky little defenders away, making it very limited on what they can do to actually defend that turret tower. And in some builds where there's, say, a sky tower, you could actually probably walk this onto the land underneath their tower, so the tower won't be shooting the Quets, but all these turrets will be shooting their dinos, causing the defenders to panic even more. And of course, if they panic, they make mistakes. If they make mistakes, it makes the raiders' life a lot easier. Now on this one, I didn't actually bring down the foundations, and again I put a hatch frame in. Oh, I believe the Quetz is flying somewhere. Yeah, it's fun when they have their own mind, isn't it? Alright, so now this is probably the biggest weak point. As you can see, if someone's able to get underneath you, they probably could snipe out the electric on one side. So to counter that, if you really wanted to, you could quite easily put another one here, and then that will automatically attach if that one was to get destroyed. But apart from that, as you can see, you just climb down, duck underneath, and you can mount. No rubber banding, no reason why this one cannot fly naturally, making this one, again in a PvP but raiding scenario, quite the deadly mount to have. Now, one thing I'm going to mention, once you've built on them, you cannot transfer them. You either need to have them pre-built on your server ready for defending, or you need to transfer to the server you are currently taking on and build them there in the hopes that your enemy does not see you building them. Okay guys, so here is my third design. Now this one is actually a very good all-rounder. Quite often when you're doing PvP and it's Quetz versus Quetz, you will find that a lot of people try to get underneath you, because then all their turrets will aim upwards. So this one, as you can see, similar to one of the builds from the official style, has protection at the bottom. It also has protection at the top. Not overpowered protection, you know, you can still get shot, but you're definitely limiting how you can be shot, or by how many turrets. Now as you can see as well, this has a lot of firepower just like the other two, meaning that if you are able to get under your opponent, you can definitely get some damage done quickly. Same design inside with a generator, and again done only 4 foundations this time. You can do 6 if you really want to, but it doesn't really change the design at all. Some ramps in front of the Quetzal, again limiting how it can be shot from above. So this one is actually one of my favourite ones. I generally have at least one of these built in my bases, ready to be teleported out for base defense. That and the first unofficial Quetzal you saw. Now don't forget, this all depends on your server settings. Auto turrets might be extremely powerful on your server, or it might be extremely weak on your server. The main goal when it comes to Quetzals, of course, is HP. You need to put, I don't know, 1 stat into weight, or if it's extremely boosted, so I don't know, you just need to put 1 stat into weight if your server's extremely boosted, or you might need to put 10 stats into weight. But essentially, after doing weight, you really just need to focus on HP. You want these things to be really good tanking beasts, and that's even if they're not made for raiding, they're made for PvP. You want them to be able to last as long as possible. Right guys, so thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed and learned a few things about building on Quetzals, and let me know if you're going to use these in the future guys. And until next time, I will catch you on AlphaBorn.